4,500 years ago, on the banks of a river in what is now Pakistan, an estimated 40,000 people lived inside a carefully planned city. Covered drains lined its main streets. Ordinary houses had bathing rooms. At its center stood one of the ancient world's earliest monumental public baths. And yet something is missing. No securely identified palace, no royal tomb, no monumental temple, a city this advanced, and no obvious ruler at its center. Welcome to Ruins and Myth. This is Mohenjo-daro, one of the Indus civilization's largest known cities. And here's the real puzzle. It isn't just that we have no agreed sign of who ruled here. The people who built it also left behind thousands of short inscriptions, in a script no one has ever been able to read. Start with what we do know, because it's remarkable on its own. Mohenjo-daro was built around 2500 BCE, laid out on a grid, with ordinary houses below a raised walled citadel. Its fired bricks followed a familiar 1:2:4 ratio across the Indus world. Beneath many streets ran covered drains, channeling wastewater away from houses and lanes, unusually systematic urban drainage for the Bronze Age. At the center of the citadel sits the Great Bath, roughly 12 by 7 meters and about 2.5 meters deep, with brickwork and bitumen helping keep it watertight. We still don't know exactly what happened here, but someone valued water enough to engineer a tank this carefully. So here's the turn. Egypt built pyramids, Mesopotamia built palaces and temples. Mohenjo-daro has been excavated for over a century, and archaeologists have never securely identified a palace, a royal tomb, or a grand temple here. There's no obvious throne room, and no monumental portrait of a ruler anywhere on the site. That doesn't prove no one was in charge. But it does support the leading interpretation. Indus power may have been organized more collectively and expressed less through kingship than in neighboring Bronze Age states, which makes the two most famous faces from this city even stranger. This statite bust, about 17.5 centimeters tall, is nicknamed the Priest King. This bronze figure, just over 10 centimeters tall, is nicknamed the Dancing Girl. Both labels are modern guesses. We don't know if the man was a priest or a king, and we don't know if the woman was dancing. They're two of the most famous images from the Indus world, and we're still not certain who either of them was. And if this kind of honest archaeological mystery is your thing, tap like, because the writing makes it even stranger. Whoever coordinated this place, they did it at scale. Indus seals have turned up in Mesopotamian cities, alongside tablets that mention traders from a land called Meluha, very likely the Indus region. Stone cube weights built on the same graduated system appear from Mohenjo-daro to Harappa, and at sites hundreds of miles apart. That kind of standardization across more than 1,000 known Harappan settlements implies real coordination. We just can't point to a palace or royal court and say, there, that's where power lived. Now here's the part that should really bother you. This civilization used writing, over 400 distinct symbols carved onto thousands of seals. But the average inscription is only about 5 signs long, and the longest runs a little over 2 dozen. There's no Rosetta Stone here, no bilingual text lining up Indus signs against the language we already know. So for more than a century, no one has read a single sentence of it. We don't know their gods' names, we don't know if a king is being thanked, or a shipment is simply being labeled, and the disagreement over what this actually is runs deep. Most epigraphers still treat it as a genuine script, encoding real spoken words we simply haven't cracked. But in 2004, historian Steve Farmer and his co-authors argued the symbols might not encode language at all, that they could work more like emblems or ritual markers, closer to heraldic crests than writing. Other researchers point to how the signs repeat and cluster and insist the patterns look too language-like to dismiss. Neither side has won the argument, and that's what makes the silence so unnerving. Now here's what these people apparently chose not to write down at all. Compare that silence to Egypt or Assyria, where kings covered temple walls with battle scenes and lists of conquered enemies. The surviving Indus imagery leans heavily toward animals, especially that one-horned bull-like creature. plus a smaller number of human or ritual scenes. No royal inscriptions boasting of victories, no clear battle scenes, no depictions of a king ruling over anyone. Either that record simply hasn't survived, which is possible, or this was a culture that didn't build its identity around glorifying a ruler or a battlefield. Given everything else we've seen, the second explanation is looking less and less like a stretch. And before we go further, one thing this city was not. You may have seen claims online that Mohenjo-daro was destroyed by an ancient nuclear blast, its bricks supposedly vitrified by radiation, its skeletons found frozen mid-massacre. Archaeologists don't take this seriously. The handful of scattered skeletons found here died at different times, in different layers, not in a single event, and there's no vitrified glass or unusual radiation signature at the site. It's a fun internet story. It just isn't what actually happened here. So if it wasn't invaders and it wasn't a blast, what actually happened? The honest answer is that nobody left in one dramatic night. Over centuries, monsoon patterns shifted, parts of the wider river system changed course, and some urban centers became harder to sustain. For decades, an older theory blamed a violent Aryan invasion for ending these cities almost overnight. Most archaeologists have since set that theory aside. There's no matching destruction layer and the timeline doesn't hold up. Some now add a human factor too. Firing all those bricks took enormous amounts of wood, and the deforestation that followed may have strained the region further. Many Harappan sites lay along the now dry Gugahukra system, which some scholars identify with the river the Rigveda calls the Sarasvati, though that identification and the exact geography behind it is still debated. What isn't in doubt is the broader pattern. As water access changed, urban life thinned out, and many settlements shifted eastward. The city was abandoned gradually, not in a single catastrophe. Mohenjo-daro itself was only rediscovered in the 1920s, after Adi Banerjee recognized the antiquity of a mound near Lakhana in Sindh, and larger excavations followed under John Marshall. It became the first site in South Asia added to the UNESCO World Heritage List in 1980, and today it's still fighting for its life. Rising groundwater is drawing salt up through the bricks, and conservators are racing to slow the damage. We may never read the script these people left behind. We may never find a palace, because there may never have been one to find. But that's what makes Mohenjo-daro worth walking through. Proof that a Bronze Age city could run for centuries on planning, plumbing, and standardized weights, without leaving us a single named ruler we can confidently place on a throne. So Mohenjo-daro isn't really a mystery about a lost people. We know an enormous amount about how they ate, bathed, traded, and built. The real mystery is what they believed, and who, if anyone, they believed was in charge. If cities like this are what you come here for, subscribe. Every video on Ruins and Myth walks another place the world left behind. And tell me in the comments, if you could translate just one Indus seal, what would you want it to say? I'll be reading. And I'll see you at the next set of ruins.